As we have discussed in the first lesson, one of the dimensions to consider while defining the business strategy is the scope of the market. Consumers are highly diverse, which can influence their needs and their purchase process. Let's look at some example. A couple in their late 30s with 2 young children living in the suburbs is looking for a new car. They would need a car that is spacious enough for the whole family to travel together. They may prioritize the safety features. They may allocate a smaller portion of their disposable income to the budget of the new car, considering other expenses in their lives. The couple would also influence each other on the final decision. Instead, if a single man in his late 20s, living in the city by himself, is looking for a new car, he may prefer a smaller car that is more practical for urban transportation. He may prioritize the design and the style of the car. He may also allocate a greater portion of his disposable income to the budget of the new car, and he could make the final decision independently. From these examples, we can see that consumer diversity could be defined in various factors. Geographic factor tells us where the consumers are, the country, the region, the city, and the area in the city, which will eventually lead to social-cultural diversities. Demographic factor tells us who the consumers are, such as their gender, age, race, family status, education level, occupation, and income level. Psychographic factors tell us how the consumers think, such as their interests, personality, attitudes, beliefs, values, and lifestyle. Behavioral factors tells us how the consumers conduct themselves, the benefits that they seek, the occasion of purchase and usage, the usage rate, the loyalty level, and so on. Our needs are expressed at different levels. It starts with satisfying the most basic physiological needs, such as being properly fed and rested. Then it progresses to safety and security, to social belongingness, to self-esteem, achievement and respect, and eventually to self-actualization of pursuing one's ideal. Only when a lower level of needs is satisfied, we can go on to pursue the next level of our needs. When the industries were still struggling with productivity, there were more standardized products and less variety in the market. They were mostly providing functional values to satisfy the basic needs of the consumers. After the basic needs were no longer a restriction, the consumers went on to look for product variety that are more suited to their own taste and preference as the results of different geography, demographics, psychographics, and behavior that we have just discussed. A much greater variety of products are available in market today. While they share common functional values, they provide different psychological value, such as the sense of well-being, attractiveness, entertainment, and so on, to appeal to different consumers. Beyond functional value and psychological value, more and more consumers also start to look for meaning and to make sense of their lives, such as fulfillment, having hope, and achieving potential. And eventually they seek to make more profound and broader impact for the values in which they are emotionally involved. The car industry that we've seen before in the example satisfies the basic needs of mobility. They are further differentiated by design and style, level of power, interior fitting, digital system, and so on. Consumers can choose from different models that better suit their own needs and taste. In recent years, with the consumers' growing environmental consciousness, many car manufacturers heavily invest in clean technologies, from hybrid models to attempt to revolutionize the future transportation, appealing to the early adopters who are strongly driven by their green values. While the consumers mostly share similar basic needs, their psychological needs and their values and beliefs become more and more diversified. Therefore, a generic product focusing on functional value could hardly satisfy the consumers anymore. In order to offer a product with higher value, it is a critical first step to identify the groups of customers who share similar needs and values. The process of dividing the market into such similar groups is market segmentation. Segmentation can heavily leverage on consumer data. For example, a survey can collect data on consumers' attitude, personality, values, beliefs, and so on. Transaction data can provide insights into consumers' behavior, such as product choice, purchase frequency, and so on. Clustering analysis can group the customers in ways that provide useful insights for a specific business. The objective of segmentation is to reduce the market complexity so that the companies can design and communicate offerings more effectively to certain market segments. Therefore, each market segment must share relevant similarities within itself while be distinguished from the other segments. Besides being similar within itself, a market segment would be more useful for a company if it can measure the size and buying power of the segment to ensure that the marketing action specifically addressed to this segment could generate enough return for the investment. The company should have the real possibility of accessing and obtaining the segment using marketing actions. The segment and the specifically designed marketing actions should be sustainable over a long period of time. For small companies, it is more feasible and practical to address certain market niche. A market niche is a market segment with unique needs and preferences. Insightful identification and deep understanding of suitable market niche is the important first step for small companies to develop their marketing strategy.